Okay, welcome everyone. If you are managing to join me live, please let me know. I'll try to check the comments. But you are in Sissy's Craft Room, so welcome to Sissy's Cards and Crafts. And I am a independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator here in Eastern Ontario, Canada. So this is June 1st, yes. So we can have this lovely catalog for all of our products. And tonight I wanted to go back to, I lost the page. Thought I had the page all marked. And now there we go. The Waterside Retreat Suite. So keep in mind that a suite is a mix of a bunch of different products that all coordinate. So we have our stamps and dies. Then you get some DSP or designer series paper, which is, in this case, it's 12 by 12. There's two each of 5 or 6 designs. Quite nice paper. And then there's usually some sort of embellishments, trinkets, which in this case, that's what it is, or you get ribbon, or you get gems. There's different things that are included in different suites. So this suite was $95 for everything. Now, where you save money is getting the bundle. When the bundle is when you get stamps and dies together, there is a 10% discount. And then everything else is just added on dollar for dollar. So if you are signing in, and I think there is some that's not available right now on this, but that just, if you can get the bundle, then great. Then just add the other things on and you're good to go, and you can order it later if it's missing. So for example, if the trinkets weren't available, you could still get the bundle and the DSP and then order the trinkets later. Not a problem. And you won't lose any money in that. But if you can buy that bundle together, I hope that made sense. Okay, so I have designed a set of cards. So there's 5 cards. I've created the instruction booklet for it. It's a PDF you will find on my website, which is sissyscardsandcrafts.com. And I'll have it uploaded there, and you can check it out or download it from there. If you are having issues with that because it's just a new website I've set up, then please feel free to email me at sissyscardsandcrafts@gmail.com. And you can also access that email or email me right from the website. I know that works. So this is free. Just hopefully we can access it pretty quick and easy. So the first card I did have them all created, and then I ended up giving them away. So we'll create this one, and I've got it demoed just on one of our new clipboards here in this picture. But it's basically, I cased it. So it's the same one as here. Well, with the exception of these dies here that says "Have a great birthday, Dad." So I kind of changed things up a little bit, which is completely fine when you case a card, right? Case is copy and share everything. So here we go. So with this product, again, you've got your stamps. Here they are here. This is what they look like. And then you have the dies, and there's multiple dies. There's ones that cut out the stamps, and then there's more detailed dies. And within this product, I'm going to basically use all of them, or within this set of cards that I've created. All right, I've cut everything out that we need, so I don't have to take up time doing that. And these, however, some of our DSP, you can actually use dies with. This one you can't. So you have to what's called fussy cut, which is basically take your scissors and cut them out. And just what you do is you just follow along the edge of the picture. Don't cut the colors, like leave a white border around and just smooth cut around. And it's easier than you think. So I've gone through a DSP and cut these out. I've kind of chopped mine up, obviously. Like I just said, I've cut it out. So see, this is the paper here I've cut out. It has this lovely back side here we're going to use this wood grain tonight. And this is another side, and I cut out, you know, a life ring out of that. Then there is this one that is interesting. This one I like, but we will use that in another thing. Then there are these, sorry, I just want to stick that all back in so I don't, I guess that one's not going in. I'll pull out a couple of these other ones that I haven't cut here. So these ones, we will use a couple of these within this series of cards that I've created, which are just backgrounds, and they can make card making really simple. This back, I quite like this. And then there's all these fishies. I didn't like these until I saw some cards made with them, and they were kind of cute. And of course, they were just fussy cut out. So this is the back, this water. And like I say, you get 2 each of 5 or 6 designs. And there's these cute bicycles. And if you got the Paper Pumpkin, if you're a Paper Pumpkin subscriber, last month, so not just this past month before, so what, we were in April, they had a set, their cards actually coordinated with this suite, and there was a card that used these bicycles, and it was kind of cute. This one, I like the coloring, but I've heard a couple demonstrators say it kind of reminds them of the Birds movie, Alfred Hitchcock movie. I agree with that. And then, of course, this one, like I said, we will use. So those are the papers. But for now, let's do this card. So I have all of the materials listed. And what we are going to do is a pecan pie, a card base. And I have 4.5 by 11. So I've just taken 8.5 by 11 sheet and cut it down in the middle. Scored it in half. So I believe that's 5.5. Yep, scored it 5.5. Okay, so it's an easel standing card, right? Just gonna stand up like that. Just want to really get that. Use my bone folder, and if you kind of go both sides, you'll get a bit better score. All right, so then we're going to use this, and we're just going to put this on as our background. Lickety-splickety, just like that. I like this background. It's quite, again, makes it nice and simple. And if you're using the Tombow glue, liquid glue, with any white paper, the glue can make it sometimes be seen through, and our DSP, or again, designer series paper, is thinner rather than regular cardstock even. So don't use a lot of it, and you only need a little. You don't need a lot anyways, but it works really well. I like using it because I can make sure I get it centered. So we have a nice little border around, so you can see that pecan pie. Then really what we're going to do is just add these on. And there's, you know, some different colors than what we've seen in the other one, but we're just going to put these on. And in the DSP, you could get 2 oars that look like this. I kind of had one of each. So, you know, if you know my husband, you know, the captain, he's going to use whatever he finds, and nothing matches. So that just seemed to work for him, and this will probably be a Father's Day card for him anyways. So we're going to just kind of eventually put them on. Some are going to be glued right down flat. Some are going to be bumped up with dimensionals. But for right now, we're just going to put that aside. They are not adhered yet. We're just going to leave them there. Now, one of these is going to be the inside piece for the card. So we'll hold off on that. These 2 pieces here, we are going to use to create our sentiment piece on the front. And this is where I got a little bit creative. So in the book, it showed in the catalog and online, you can see where they have some nice dies that just make it look nice. And you know what? We don't have those dies. So again, I got creative. What I decided to do is cut this out of this paper. Now, first off, I'm not worried. I really only want to focus on the back of the chair, well, the back of the chair here. So this particular piece here and this piece here. Okay. So I'm not worried if my legs are sticking off at the bottom. If you were scissors, where would you be? I'd be way over here. I have such a messy desk right now. Okay, so this is really all I need of this. I'm going to bring in mini Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. We've got our base plate number 1, our cutting plate, and you can see it's got lots of cuts and marks on it. That's fine. If you keep flipping them over, it will help because you can see it kind of starts to bend and bow. So if you flip them, it helps with that. I'm going to center that on there. Again, not worried about the feet or even the arms of that. And when you're using your mini one, just have this cutting plate step back in from the base plate and then add your top plate so it equals what the base plate is. So it's kind of got that middle one is inset a little bit. That'll feed through so much easier. And then you just crank it through. These little mini Stampin' Cut and Emboss machines are awesome. I can just keep it right on my desk and it's easy to grab. And then I can just cut. And you can cut quite a few little dies on it. All right, so I've got my, I'm going to put those aside because I'm going to use them again. I've got my take your pick. I was going to say pokey tool, which kind of what it is. You can see in the back of our dies, we've got some holes here. These help loosen that up so we can pull that off. Okay, so here's the one part I wanted. And then this was the other part I wanted. You can see with this chair, it gives you, oops, it pokeyed it right out. It gives you this other piece here that looks like a piece of wood, right? I'll put it on that white. You can see a little bit better. Okay, so we're going to create a sign. And what I wanted to do is like a hanging sign, you know, like a for sale sign or whatever. So I'm going to come through and I'm just going to cut this back part out here. I'm just going to snip there. And then I'm going to snip here. There we go. And then what I did the last time is I just snipped these off. But I think I'm going to just kind of cut. You can see where there's like lines, supposedly like the wood green lines there. I'm just going to kind of cut down to that and then cut across like this. I know it's not even. That's fine. But this little edge here is going to give me something to stick this to, because this is kind of what we're looking for here. Like this. So it has that. So what I had done is before I cut that off and I just had these two little ends to glue onto and it was a little bit tedious. So just as I'm trying to do this now, I thought, you know what, maybe that would make more sense. So let's do this. Just going to put a little bit of glue here. And then I'm going to take this and we're just going to stick this on like this. Now this piece is meant to be kind of the front of the chair. This piece I just stuck on. So that is going to be our sign that's going to kind of hang down, and it's going to hold our sentiment in the middle. So we need a piece for the sentiment. And what I'm going to do is basically take my white piece and I'm going to cut out. I just only need this back part. So to save on cardstock, I'm just going to cut this out like this. Because, you know, that's a little piece, that's the piece of cardstock we're using. So you know, save your scraps because you use them. Okay, again, base plate, cutting plate, base cutting plate just back in a little bit. Top plate goes down and I run this through. It will crack and snap. Fine. There's a lot of pressure in there and it is cracking because it's making an impression in your cutting plate. This is the piece we want. So initially the piece that you would throw out because it's the back of the chair, that's the piece we want. So I'm going to keep that. I'm going to get my die cleaned out because I'm going to want to use this for something else. So I'm just going to pick that out. I don't need that. My die is done. And then this will be what I'm going to stamp on. Now, make sure you have it orientated the right way, right? Because my sign is going to hang down. So this basically is the chair upside down. So I want to have that. And then I'm going to put on, here's to a new chapter. Where's my stamps here? So, stamp right here. And I like my son is going to step in here and say hi because he wants to watch a show. So I'm going to just center this here and I'm going to stamp on my sentiment. Now, I believe my H and P are just sticking off the edge, which is fine. It works. And there we go. And now, maybe some of you are ahead of me on this. So first off, I'm going to clean my stamp. So I've got my Stampin' scrub, which unfortunately is now obsolete. But there is great chamois that everybody uses, and the Stampin' Mist Spray is still available. Okay, so again, some of you might have been ahead of me thinking, how are you going to adhere that? Well, I'm simply going to kind of poke this in where it needs to be. I'm going to turn it over, and then I'm going to take my Stampin' Dimensionals, and I'm going to use them. And what I'm going to do is actually use these edges. I like this finer edge over here. Well, not finer, but it's a little bit thinner than this edge here, right? Like it's just a little bit. So I'm going to even that up, center it in there, and then I'm just going to use the dimensional to capture the outside and the inside. It's going to be a little bit too long. So I'm going to still use that one little piece there, right? Waste not, want not. Like I said, don't throw away anything. And I'm going to even go one step further, and I'm going to cut along here and take this piece off because that's a nice thin piece that I can put right there. So that is ready to go on our card. Okay, look at that. Bing, bang, boom. So simple. Now, what I want to do is start putting things down. But first, let's take a trinket. So you get these lovely little trinkets. They're so cute. I was kind of concerned when I first ordered it. I thought they were cute, but I'm like, oh, on a card, how do you make them work? And are they going to be heavy and are they going to be thick? But they're actually fairly light and fairly thin, and they just had quite a nice shine to it. So then I'm going to take, probably want a fair bit of twine, and I like to take the cardboard tube and give it a little snip there, and then I just push my end in there, and that way I can keep it. And when it's a little bit loopy like this, because it was on that roll, just pull it through your fingers a little bit and that'll straighten it out. Okay, so I'm doubling it because I want a double bow. Then maybe it would have been smarter not to cut it, but it does go through. Feed those two through there and just tie it on. That. Just kind of need one knot. If you want to do two, that's fine. And then run back through here like this. Now this is not going to hold the weight of the charm. It's just going to hold it kind of in place. So I'm probably going to push this through this side too, so we kind of have it going around both, and then our strings come forward instead of meeting at the back, if that makes sense. So there we go, like that. And then I'm just going to tie a bow. And I find if I tie my bows upside down, they lay better. Okay, so I'm just going to put that hanging down there, tie my knot. And when I'm doing cards, and like I say, doing them upside down, I like doing the two bunny ear method bow tying. I just find it works consistently better. I guess just because you get the evenness. But saying that now, I'm trying to do two threads and I'm getting them tied up here. I'm not seeing any comments. I didn't warn anybody I was going live, so I didn't expect to see anybody on tonight. But please do, if you're watching this, please comment, like, share, all that fun stuff. And let others know of the fun that I'm trying to have here and share with you guys, because this is fun. It's a relaxing hobby. And yes, it's nice to have all of this fun stuff and coordinating product, but you know, you can use other product as well. And whatever you've got. Okay, I'm just going to trim these off just a little bit to even them up. Okay, so that is going to go on there. Good. All right, now we've got that on dimensionals. I think these guys, just to keep them crossed, I'm going to just cross them here myself with a little bit of glue, like so. Okay, and now just simply decide which ones I want, where I want them, and which ones I want it to pop up. When we say pop up, I mean just put some dimensionals on them. Yep. I won't be long. I'm just on a video, honey. You can get things ready.
Okay.
Sound like a plan?
Yeah, where are the chips?
Oh, you go find them. Go in the cupboard. Yeah, no worries. Okay, so because this one is actually going to go beneath that sign, I am going to glue that life preserver down. And then probably on the opposite side, I'll glue this one down as well, because again, that sign is going to be there. And just angle them however you want. This is going to have to sit on top of this, so this needs to be bumped up, but not both sides. So you can see how I'm going to overlay this one on top of that one. So if I put a dimensional there, that's not going to work. So I need to put the dimensional on this corner, and then just a little bit of glue on that corner. Oops, take the backing off. Yeah, my little guy. I call him my little guy. He's not a little guy. Joshua, he has Downs, and he loves to watch Dallas. Yes, the old Dallas. And so we watch it every night, and he's asking for the chips, which we tend to have chips when Daddy's at work. Okay, so because I've bumped those up, I bumped that up by putting that there, which I didn't need to. I could have just put glue at the top part here and left this at a higher level. But instead, I'm going to double bump it. And I'm going to take some dimensionals and double it up. So just put a dimensional on top of a dimensional. And then that's going to double stack it. And I get extra lift. Lift off, right? Okay. So, we got to get these guys under here, which I think we're going to just pop the oars up here and stick them down. Need another set of hands here. There we go. And then I'll just put a little bit of glue on the back here. Okay, like that. All right, so then I'm going to make sure that one goes there, these go here. And then there's my little gem there. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. And then in here, we are going to put our sediment. So we have our other white piece. And some of the things we have that we can use. So we had, here's to a new chapter. Relax, today is your day. Or Happy Father's Day. Have a great birthday, if it's a birthday card. I think I did this before, so let's try this one. Let's double it up. So by doubling it up, I mean we'll put relax, today is your day. Now, a lot of people would like to put them both like this on the same block and then stamp. And I find that tricky because the way the stamps are made, there's a little bit of extra space around, and it's hard to center them properly and get them lined up properly, I find. So we're just going to put relax. Stampin' scrub. And then today is your day. So see, now I can get right up under that word properly. And get that on there. There we go. If you like to space it further apart, that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. I just why that doesn't work the way I need it to work. And then just to quickly show you what I was talking about with the fussy cutting, I thought let's just fussy cut one of these out. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to quickly cut that out. And then I'm just going to use my scissors, and I'm not going to do this. I'm just going to take it and just kind of go around the edge. And when I start to get to the end, then I'm going to move up. I want to stay near the fulcrum of the scissors, so where it joins instead of the end, and try to make smooth cuts. And notice to do that, I'm actually turning my paper, not my scissors. And I try to get about 1/8 of an inch away from the colored area. With these, there's not a lot of detail, so it's easy to do. And then I'm just going to glue that on here. And it just gives a nice little added benefit to the card, like that. And we're going to glue this in. And that is card 1 of our set that I have created. So some of them I have, like this one, we cased, but there are some other ones, or actually the rest of them I have created myself. And I'm happy to share them with you. So join me. Be back tomorrow night about the same time, so between 8 and 9, and hopefully we'll do a live and we'll show you another card. Thanks for joining.